Ah, political coffee hour. I basically am a relatively moderate Republican who believes in people's freedom, but that there are just limits that humans always put on other humans because dangerous behavior is what can be interpreted by a lot of people as their freedom. And it's not just dangerous to themselves as much as dangerous to other people, but it is dangerous to themselves. Let's take fentanyl and heroin for an example. Um, to a certain extent, I philosophically believe that you should be able to consume whatever type of alcohol or marijuana or some type of pain pill, maybe something relatively, middle of the road. But I don't think that it's right to philosophize that any human society should just up and let people just kill themselves and get stuck in a pattern, because you get people, you don't know where it starts. You don't know if someone is stuck in something in an abusive way. We have rules against monopolies where people control businesses. There's no drugs or illicit substances or material or contraband like weapons involved, but we just say that it's an abusive human, or it's too coercive of a human situation. So I think we've always had a lot of regular societal rules, and a lot of that's been challenged since the 60s. And civil rights obviously was a very important thing that was challenged. But I think there's a lot of other things that were sort of like throwing the baby Jesus out with the bathwater, if you will. There's a lot of normal, regular things, and you don't have to be Christian for this to apply. I'm just saying throwing the baby Jesus out with the bathwater. Like, we've always had kind of a Judeo-Christian general cultural morality and ethics. The Constitution didn't come directly from the Bible. It came from Northern European philosophy of governance, and it's sort of a natural law philosophy that's, in general, in the Declaration of Independence, it's sort of encapsulated, and then it's specifically enfleshed or skeletonized out and partially enfleshed with its tendons and ligaments, if you will, to show what's allowable on the state levels, and what's allowable and disallowable. And really, it restrains government from violating our natural and God-given rights. We also have natural and God-given duties not to violate other people's rights. So we say we as humans step in. If you take just any culture of humanity back to its primitive level, there's never been 100% human freedom. Are you kidding me? Have you seen how much larger adult humans are than children? You're not free growing up to do whatever you want. If you can run away and survive, then yeah, you're free in the jungle type of thing. But in any culture, there's a group of people who will step in and they will stop people from doing things, whether there's a law or not. Humans get together in groups and we do that. So I think it's just natural to our species. And to say that, that we don't really have the right to have a border, I think, is to be idealistic to the point of detriment, and that's why you get some of this further right-wing stuff popping up, this very negative stuff that pops up, like the 8chan and the 4chan stuff. I mean, to try to say that people for having a Republican view are those, we all have those viewpoints, those of us who are Republicans. I'm a Republican. I do criminal defense paralegal work, and I run a criminal defense paralegal business. And it doesn't mean that I want people to do a lot of things that they do that they get arrested for, because they're the things that end your life, they end parts of your life, they end the kind of the experience of life that you and other people around you can have. Drug use, drinking and driving, assault, things like that, larceny. These are all negative things, but I think just kind of having the postmodern view that there is no standard, I think it's really antithetical to what we naturally are as humans, and that's why we've seen this rise in the far right wing negativity that we've seen in our country, is because we've just sort of had an assault on regular lines of decency and ethics and morality. I mean, we all like different entertainment artists. They entertain us with all kinds of things that are, they're off color and stuff. I guess I sort of made this video in front of this anti-degenerate art piece called The Gleaners, um, for the purpose of just kind of pointing out there's a wholesomeness that maybe we can embrace as a culture. I don't know really what to say other than maybe more of a less a less extreme view of politics on both sides. It's probably a good thing. I'm not any kind of radical centralist or somebody who says we're the exact same. I choose Republican because I think the humans, by our very nature, we have our brains in the center that collects everything, and we have this sort of us-centered view, and that's what traditionally, in religious terms, we've called being our sin nature. That we're not naturally good. We're not born heinously ill-trained and having done heinous things. Like, you do have to work to do some of the heinous things that are done in the world. But I think an undisciplined thinker thinks that we can allow any and all people into the country automatically, without abdicating our duty to actually protect the people who are already here. So I just think that there needs to be reasonability about enforcement of our border, reasonability about how the law is being used, it's kind of manipulated for people to get here. And I understand that people don't have it really great in other countries. It's just it causes problems, and we have to have rules about it. I mean, we have to. If you want to change the amendments, you got to change the amendments. If you want to change the laws, you have to change the laws. But saying that laws don't mean what they mean, I mean, they mean what they mean in regular plain English. We have a border, and we have border patrol. I hate to sound like I'm all negative about Central and South American immigration. I speak Spanish. I live here in San Diego. Um, I do just think it's idealistic to think that there aren't people who hate us in the world. In the Middle East, there's groups that are dangerous, and you have to deal with the reality too that there's a very real potentiality of Middle Eastern terrorist groups coming up through our southern border too, posing as Mexicans and North and Central and South Americans. Um, I think you can look at some examples like the different college kids and the blonde girls have tried to go through Syria, and then they get decapitated, and we have to watch hour-long videos of them screaming out their side half-decapitated neck holes. Just the most terrible things you can ever see. I think if you think that humans are all good and that all people should be let into this country, that you should be forced to watch some of those things. They're heinous. I don't want you to watch them. I want you to think about them slightly and then sort of change your view and see that we have a duty to protect our people who are here from unknown individuals coming into the country. We have the right to know who people are. Um, that's it. I just think too far of an extreme left um, Democrat position is not good for any regular person who is a Democrat. Like, you think we should help poor people. Well, okay, I agree. I think we do help poor people a lot, and I think um, it's better for a human to stand on their own too and to provide for themselves to the most of their capacity rather than rely um, on government assistance. So that's my view of politics: is that extremism begets real negative opposite extremism. So, anyways, thank you.